Good news and bad news as we head into this matchup with the Raiders on Monday Night Football. We're on social media now on X, Twitter, Sports Talk Detroit. Check us out there. Let's start with the bad news, right? Let's just do that. No practice Friday. Okay, David Montgomery, fine. Jonah Jackson, fine. It's because we remember we have a bye week next week. So we're being probably more cautious with any questionable guys because you get another week next week. But Frank Ragnow, this is the one that's interesting. So he doesn't practice typically one day a week just because of his lingering toe injury, but he's got a calf injury. So what this would mean Graham Glasgow would go to center, and I'm just expecting that he won't play, to be honest, because of the bye next week. I think unless he's ready to go, I think, hey, hold him out, and then he's got next week, and we've got the stretch run, down the stretch here to make the playoffs and do some things. So I would be surprised if he played. So that means, and I'll get to the good news here in a second, but Graham would go to center, and then you'd have to have two new guards because Jonah Jackson's out as well. So that would mean Vaitai, Sortasol, which played well, Swordsdal, and Dan Skipper. So one of that combination of a guard thing. So I think we could get away with it, but that really stinks. So because limited was Vaitai. So like, oh my gosh, so Vaitai might be out as well. So keep an eye on the offensive line. That's the one area, especially with Frank Ragnow. We've just been a rock solid, hasn't missed a game this season, and we've really done a lot of good things because he's able to just anchor the center, and then we can shift around everybody else. It's fine. Okay, to the good news now. What we haven't talked about enough is our opponent. They are not good. They're oddly bad, just oddly bad. So let's take a look at let's go to it here. So shout out to All Lions Fan Nation. They asked a Raiders guy just some information about the team and what we can expect. So the Raiders are 3-4, but what have you learned so far about this team? That the offense, despite all the weapons and price tag, among the highest in the NFL, is discombobulated and impotent. Love it. It's so weird. Josh McDaniels is not a good coach. Like, he's in the Baker Mayfield category for me as far as like, am I crazy? Like, how is Baker Mayfield out there starting quarterback? Same with Josh McDaniels. How is he an NFL coach? There's coaches galore out there. He's got one of the 32 jobs. I don't get it. Do you think Josh McDaniels is the right coach for the Raiders? His track record puts up this point would make any fair person question it. But the most critical person to answer the question is Mark Davis, who believes in him. Weird, right? The Raiders have always been weird like that. Mark Davis, the owner, it's like, yeah, I think I like this guy. Fine, right? Raiders have had a history of just bad ownership, leadership, and it shows, right? And so we've been able to see as Lions fans kind of that turning around of, oh my gosh, right leadership, Chris Spielman, coaches, all of it coming, it's what a difference. So I love it. It appeared the rookies had a quiet performance in week 7, lost to the Bears. Which rookies have impressed so far this season? Now, remember, they have Michael Mayer, the tight end, and we took our tight end ahead of Mayer, and it was like, oh man, I don't know about that. Oh my gosh, thank you, Brett Holmes. I'm glad I'm not the GM. Our team would be terrible. Michael Mayer, I thought was so good. Come out of Notre Dame, big, strong. No, we got the right tight end. What are one or two key matchups you are watching this week? Can the Raiders finally score 20 plus points? Look at that. I mean, the Lions just set a record for consecutive games above 20 points until it was broken last week, unfortunately. But I mean, the Raiders can't even get to 20 points. You would think that would be really easy. Not easy, but like, you'd score 3 touchdowns or like 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals. No, they can't do it. So Josh Jacobs isn't running the ball very good. And the Raiders are just, they're not efficient. They're not good. So that's the good news. We're playing a team that's not good. So come home, Monday Night Football, crowd's going crazy. We're refreshed. We're ready to rock and roll after a bad game at the Ravens, wake up call city. Like, let's go. We got to bring it. Crowd's going to be there. We got a bye week next week. I just feel, doesn't it feel like this is a win? I mean, it just feels like a win because you're playing a team that's not good. So remember, Lions have a bye week next week. So you could be looking at a Lions team that's 6-2 going into the bye for a stretch run, leading the division with a Packers team that's not good, a Bears team that's not good. Boom. Vikings look to be the team that was, there's going to be a team that's hanging around. Vikings seem to be that team because the Vikings schedule is very similar to the Lions schedule in that it's not overly hard at all. There's nobody that super scares you on that. So if the Vikings can just kind of stay pace with us, then remember we finished the season with 2 out of our last 3 games against the Vikings. So if you're not at least 2 games ahead of the Vikings going into the week, then they beat us twice and they're the division champs. So I don't think the Lions can pull away that much from now to the end of the year. Maybe they do, and those games don't matter, but those games are going to matter at our place and at their place. And then the Cowboys sandwiched in between that. So can we stay healthy? All the things that you're trying to do in order to get to that end of the season. But the good news is 6-2 going into a bye and leading the division, like that is all that you can ask for as a Lions fan. Because again, we know how many times have we started the season 1-6, 2-5, 0-6, and it's just like, you're out of it by now, and it's just no fun. This is fun. This is why you watch football. This is why so it's like, don't take this for granted. Don't take this for granted. It's like, oh, we should have won that. No. You're not going to win every game. We're 6-2. Things are rolling just fine. We're in great shape. We got the quarterback. We got the coach. We got the coaches. I still believe in Aaron Glenn. I think he'll be fine. We don't have any more mobile quarterbacks. The defense is playing outstanding outside of that game last week. We're fine. We're absolutely in great shape. And a win here would just be everything that you could ask for beginning of the season going into what would be a great stretch run. And we've looked at it a million times, but if you don't know, our schedule there's no easy schedule in the NFL, but it's as light as you could ask for with games against the Broncos, the Bears twice. That right there's 3 games that against like the worst teams, the Packers again. The there's 4 games right there. So if we win this week, that in theory would put you to 10 victories right there. And then, you get another one against the Vikings. And, it's like, it'll add up. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on this one. Lions, Raiders. Let's get this one. See you on the next one.